All right, let's go.
That's right. All that's good. It was 20 years ago today that Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. And they've been going in and out of style, but they're guaranteed to raise a smile. So may I introduce to you the act you've known for all these years, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Hello, welcome back to the group chats. It's Robbie Goodwin here. Welcome back. I'm really excited for I've got a great guest in studio today, just one-on-one today, Mark Maron style. So who are your fucking guys
in the garage?
Yeah, we're gonna get some tears going. Yeah, we got cats all around here. You've seen him on This Is Not Happening with Ari Shaffir, Comedy Underground with David Tell, FX's Louie. Who's that?
Louie. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Did I do that?
Inside Amy Schumer, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. He's one of my personal favorite comics and big influence on me. Everyone, please give it up for Big Jay Oakerson. No one can really give it up.
You know what's funny? I didn't get that was Bill Cosby voice until you did the impression.
Oh, I do
Kudos to your impression.
I do a better Cosby than Cosby. That's good. I think my goal is to. That's nice when someone can identify that that's what you're doing. The worst is when you do an impression, you have to be like, "I'm Ronald Reagan." Well, you know what I mean? Like you have to announce it.
Man, there is no way as an impressions comic, like rooted in impressions, or even if you just have like the one big piece you do in a set.
Yeah.
Than having to do I always love the setup of it's my favorite thing. Where it's like I had a dream last night that I was working at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And all of the people I happen to do impressions of work there.
Oh my God, I've seen that one. I saw a great like I did the Comedy Palace in San Diego. Just like there was this headliner who's just like clear like. Had not updated since like 2004.
Road Dog, yeah.
He's like, I saw that Schwarzenegger and Statham are doing a movie together. Okay, but what if Morgan Freeman was in the movie? It's like, oi, Guff, what are you doing there? You know, just like not.
Well, I think that you shouldn't get.
That was the best. Yeah, it was
weaving in any of your impressions is the funniest thing.
Also, Statham, Schwarzenegger, Morgan Freeman, three guys everyone can do. That's the big, but that was the big, and the people loved it. It really killed.
It's also when they get funny into like B characters from other things too.
Yeah.
It's like I'm working at this restaurant, and then who's on fries? Barney from Simpsons. You're like, Barney from Simpsons.
These guys have been relevant forever. Hey, who watches Urkel's comes in? Then I knew that.
Do you remember the neighbor Mort on Rhoda? He's there.
Mork from Mork and Mindy. Robin Williams has gotten more famous than that. He can update. Oh, yes, thank you.
Nanu, nanu.
Oh, nanu.
You only know the one impression. That's like learning only the one, the hoo-ah, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And everybody says, hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah, sense of a woman.
No matter what, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And justice for all. Hoo-ah.
So Al Pacino was in this new Tarantino movie. What if he was doing Scent of a Woman? He'd be like, "Whoa, Leo DiCaprio."
There really is just no way to awesomely set up
an impressions. I think it is like when I was like a little bit less. When I was like less good at stand-up, people were like, "Oh, you're an impressionist," and I was like, I hate that because I don't know any comics that are called impressionists that I don't think of as like completely hacky. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, they're just like pure impressionists. That's all they do.
Yeah,
it's funny because like Soder does impressions.
He
for
does,
sure, but
yeah.
it's so his stand-up isn't just like impression heavy.
No, not at all.
It's like story and stand-up comedy, and he happens to be able to do those impressions or voices or act, which all adds to comedy, I think. But man, when it's just like the era of a Rich Little is over. Like, that'll never happen again. Just a man of 1,000 faces.
No, yeah, voice comedy is on the outs. I think it's because podcasting might have honestly taken it. It's so much more natural to do voices in like a podcast kind of medium than like.
Well, starting in the black circuit too, every city had a black comic that did. Like characters.
Oh shit!
It's the same. It's an old lady. You know, basically like the Big Mama's house. Medea.
Right.
And then
who plays Medea? She's hot.
And then a drunk character, always like a homeless person, sort of.
Yeah.
Always, and there's some version of that, like an Italian. You know, basically a Dice Clay impression they do, sort of.
Interesting. See, I've never really done. I don't know. I actually don't know a lot about the black circuit at all.
Yeah, in Philly we had Tommy Too Smooth was the guy, and Tommy
Great
Too
name.
Smooth. Oh yeah, SMOOV. If you were wondering, maybe an E at the end. Might have been Smooth.
Yeah.
But he, it was just that. His characters were all like. So did you put a day of effort into this stuff and then everything else into getting booked places? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just there's so nothing to it.
That's so fun. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, actually, the closest I came to like a black circle was doing like I knew a ton of like Oakland comics when I was coming up in the Bay Area, and it was a lot of like. It's funny you said, what was it, Tommy Smoove or
Tommy
whatever?
Too Smooth.
My favorite was like blank the comedian. Oh, I love black comedy posters. So that's like my favorite. There's like a bunch of like
I follow a bunch of guys.
They're
for
so
that, yeah.
garish and like just like a bunch of like, and they position everyone as if they're the biggest headliner in the world. And
Yeah.
it's like, who the fuck?
And then
is
it's also it's like at Bart's Bar and Grill.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's like only $25 bottle service at Jeff's Grill.
Our headliner has 17 BET's Comic View appearances. He wears a suit for no reason on stage. It's fill in the blank, the comedian.
Dr. Blank, the comedian.
We had great names. We've gone through that a bunch on just over the years. Beefy Funny, just the black comedy names I got to work with. Some great ones.
Good God.
There was Sun 725, I think was the name, or 275.
The first 724 were taken.
Yeah. And I mean, just some great ones, man. Black Shogun.
Yeah. Your act was way different when you did like the black scene stuff, right?
Sure, yeah. I think I always did dirty stuff, sort of, but like it was I started pandering crazy quick.
Really?
I started with Kevin Hart and Kurt Metzger were like the two like guys we just sort of started in the
I
same
can't
few
imagine
weeks.
them hanging out at all.
Weird, and we did. Isn't that weird? I know it is so odd.
That car must have been intense.
Interesting car. And Keith Robinson throwing the mix. He's the one kind
man.
of bringing us up and showing us around. So, but yeah, the three of us starting out there, Kurt's comedy out of the gates was actually not like that at all. I realized very quickly. I got my first week where I got the confidence to go up and did my Jerry Springer jokes and what up with Maury Povich.
Oh,
and,
nice. Just daytime talk show bits.
And then it's what I was watching, during the day. And then, sure enough, like I just realized very quickly how to pander and kill.
Yeah.
So I'm right, right away I had jokes like, "Oh, you can't have a superhero up in the hood now. They'll be using them for all other kinds of shit." And I was leaning. That was good. It would do well.
Yeah.
Because I was pandering works.
Really,
if you do it in the right scenario.
Even if you're like a white guy using like black, like because it sounds like you're doing like black voice a little bit.
Well, you could do it either way. You could sell it so it looks like that's who you are.
How you talk, right?
Which I did because I never used the vernacular, if it makes sense very
Yeah.
much. It was the subject material.
Got it.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you try to meet a girl in a club? And so it's still my voice. I never really did the words I didn't use or anything like that.
Right.
It was just the tone of it all.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do very well with that. And Kurt, would do well several times, but like he would have such a harder time because he just had an arsenal of great jokes out of the gates. Just really smart jokes he didn't see coming and really good. And then, but he would go up there and they'd just be like, "Look at his motherfucking shoes," before he got any words out, and they would go at him. And then he would
clothing-based comedy huge in the black community.
And then I said it many times right before we moved.
Yeah,
like right before we started going to New York, and kind of Keith found us. Like Kurt was just about to start. Keith Robinson.
Keith Robinson.
We were
Mike.
Kurt was getting ready to make a heavy transitional jump to start pandering because all I remember was his last joke he had was like, when someone sees your shoes when you're taking a doo-doo, they see your shoes under the thing. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, holy shit, Kurt's starting to write a joke. He's going to like, you got to walk around the club and everybody seeing your shoes taking a doo-doo?
Look, man, I was just in the club. Okay. Oh, we're going to wear these shoes now.
Oh, it was such a funny. It's so funny how different his tone was, even like our voices and even.
I can't imagine that. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of you and Kurt.
Kurt's great.
Kurt's
He's
huge.
fucking hilarious.
So
man.
funny. And
but watching us like these videos of us, and I got a few at my house. Like I got to convert to like digital, I guess.
Yeah.
But of Kurt, like just the. Kurt's a presence on stage, and like and such like a dark joke writer and funny, stands by it. And,
I love the darkness.
Guns blazing.
Yeah.
And he's like so good at it, and it was funny watching that develop over a crowd that didn't like it and seeing the actual nerves. I said one of the tapes, they're so ridiculous for both of us. Me, just for me having a big silver chain with a cross. I'm Jewish.
You went by Big Ass Jay Oakerson.
Big grown ass man. Big grown
big
ass
man.
Big
grown ass Jay Oakerson, everybody.
Grown ass. That's such a great term. It's always no scene. I'm a grown ass man.
I'm a grown ass man.
Somebody punchline start for that goes, is she going to tell me this? Now, I'm a grown ass man.
It's a great transition from
you
the
ain't
setup.
Gonna tell me, yeah.
The
now, you ain't going to tell me as a grown ass man.
Bill Clinton said this shit. Now, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah. They're saying we can't smoke weed in the streets. Now, I'm a grown ass man. Ain't no one gonna tell me where I'm gonna smoke my weed.
Grown ass Jay Oakerson.
Grown ass Jay Oakerson. That should have been that's how much I was pandering. It should have been that grown ass.
You should have done the hamburger thing where you're like, now, and everyone goes, I'm a grown ass man.
Dude, the hamburger. The first time I watched him, I remember just being.
Did you see Hamburger live?
Several times.
Oh, hell
Alonzo
yes,
Hamburger
dude.
Jones.
If you don't know Hamburger in the audience, he was a guy whose punchline is always hamburger. It's not even a punchline. He says it after the punchline.
No, it is the punchline.
Yeah.
Well, at least on a lot of the things. That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say. And he got a nod, though, from Family Guy made fun of him one time. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But Hamburger, I remember the first time I watched it, and this is timely. Not even. It was actually a little like late in the game for an Elian Gonzalez joke. Do you know who that was?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, mostly because of South Park.
And he would just go like, Elian Gonzalez coming over to this country from Cuba in a tube. Hamburger ain't having it.
Now I'm a grown ass man.
This thing was always hamburger. You know, it would just be a setup and nothing. He goes, people running around blowing up fireworks on the 4th of July. Hamburger. No, they got no sense running around with fire and fireworks. Hamburger. and he would just destroy.
Really, it was big.
It was bizarre, but then there's so many comics I saw on the black circuit who were just beasts in their own right, who were just great. I mean, Talent used to fucking destroy a room.
Yeah. Wait, his name was Talent?
Yeah,
Okay.
Talent Harris, and Mike Epps, obviously, fucking huge. And
was Kevin Hart? Did you guys know he was going to be as big as he was?
You know what? I don't know if anyone could predict how big. He's
very small.
Yeah, but he's such a fucking star. I mean, like, I've walked around with him on an instance or two where it's just like, in the few times we get to catch up, like if we walk outside for a block, it shuts the city down.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at. It's really,
Wow.
Sal Volcano, I've seen that kind of happen for.
Yeah.
And Kev's even bigger and more popular than that.
Yeah. Sal's just on, Sal's big. My sister knows who he is.
Well, he's huge,
yeah.
and they're huge overseas, we found out.
Oh, really?
They're selling overseas, so they're huge. They really are huge, but like Kev's
Don't they have a cruise?
Wow,
yeah.
I did it a couple of times. It was really fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do like a comedy cruise. But it's and they're super famous. Like walk down the street and have people say something every block.
Yeah.
Famous. But Kev's like, it really shuts down everything happening around because they can't believe they're seeing.
They're seeing Kevin Hart.
It's I'm playing video games in my house in my bedroom while my mom ordered us pizza. It seems like a million years ago.
That's
crazy. It was, but it is
Yeah.
such a weird thing. But you could from his work ethic, for sure, you can see he was like early on when it just. We would get discouraged by the one thing that was supposed to discourage you in a thing. It was like, hey, do you guys have a tape ready to go and headshots and a package ready to send out for college agents and whatever like this? And then we'd be like, all right, we got to get all that stuff together. Because what else do we need? And they'd go, you got to be able to do 45 minutes to an hour of material. And then we'd be like, oh, so there's no need to get headshots yet because I can't do that yet. Comfortably at least. It wouldn't be a comfortable hour. And Kev just like had more of like, I'll figure it out.
Wow.
I'll talk 45 minutes on stage.
Oh, no way.
And like, he would just string together a bunch of musical cues and whatever it took just to get the job done. But he was so likable and like he would kill.
Wow.
If they started not liking him, he would talk about how he can't fight and he's little and dance and they'd fucking go nuts.
Wow. So that's what he would. So did you see him do an hour before he was like ready to do an hour like that? Because that's wild.
Yeah. He just would just do it. You know
That's
what I
so
mean?
cool. Yeah,
he just knows how to laugh at like laugh his way through things.
Yeah,
it was amazing. But he was such a stickler on the business end of it that his comedy would eventually catch up to.
That's yeah. I mean,
what he was doing. We all waited till someone. I didn't headline or even try to headline like a B or C room.
Yeah.
Until I was like, can I open this weekend for somebody? Can I open this weekend? Oh well, no. Like the headliner we have in there would be a hard time. To put you with them. Oh, how about this weekend?
Yeah.
No, that guy's more like, clean or docile. And you will go, so I was like, well, then can I headline? They were like, yeah, I guess we could pop you in a week. That was like the first time I even thought about it because I was waiting. I'm like, I guess I'll know or someone will tell me when it's time to headline. I never thought that I was like, I'll figure it out.
Did you have the material at that point or were you like.
By the time I had the material, I probably had like right on the nose, like, 45 minutes.
You could
I pulled everything out. There was times where it was like, got to pull it all out.
Yeah. I'm not quite there. I've done like 45 before, but it's a lot of riffing and a lot of
stretch, talk
vamping.
To the crowd stuff.
Yeah. That's kind of a big thing where it's like, it's all that like before you're ready. You don't want to get stuff before you're ready, but it's like as like Kevin Hart did, it kind of feels like sometimes you kind of rise to the occasion if you're like plunged into the deep end sometimes,
for all the bad press he gets and stuff like that. I mean, Pete Davidson, he's answering the call. Like no one's like, what's this guy doing on SNL? Like when he does stuff on SNL, it's like it's good. Falls right into the mix of everything. Like Pete's done good. And answering that call at whatever it was, 18, 19 years old. Like, that's fucking crazy.
He also answered the call of 45-year-old hot people I wanted to fuck in middle school. Kate
so
Beckinsale.
Yeah, you got the hottest young chick and the hottest old chick.
I know. He's the full spectrum.
Fucking crazy.
I fuck it all. What can I say?
Yeah, and now, if he's not, I don't even know if he's with Kate Beckinsale or not, but whatever it is, if you fuck Ariana Grande and Kate Beckinsale, the entire rainbow in between, there's thousands upon thousands of girls who just want to see what it's like to fuck either Kate Beckinsale's ex-boyfriend. What's this guy got? Or Ariana Grande. Because you're like, he's like, you know, doesn't really matter where he's billed on SNL, but I think at the time even it was like featuring Pete Davidson.
He's number one now,
Like to get the Ariana Grande, you know what I mean? Like it blew people away more than Colin Jost getting Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that one's kind of under the radar, even though they're literally getting married. Pete was like a summer fling almost with Ariana,
but like, you know, TMZ news out the ass.
It's huge.
I don't know if Colin and what's Scarlett Johansson like are cameras flickering every time they walk out of the place. I feel like they have a little more of a private life because they're not as like it's not as exciting. Probably it's probably like dinner and
they're in their
dinner
30s.
movie and home. Yeah,
they're in their like late 30s.
It's not like smoking weed at a park and doing something, you know, like whatever, giving the finger to tourists.
Yeah, I think it's because Pete and Ariana look like high schoolers, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's like high school." It's like our national high school.
And everybody else who can't imagine like having that kind of money at that age. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Pete's got a lot more money than I have, but not even having money where you feel like comfortable at all.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't have imagined having that at 24 years old. Where you're like, money's not my issue. It's like whatever other 24-year-old drama's going on.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? He had because when did he start? Did you see him when he first started coming around? Yeah. How old was he? Was he like pretty young?
When I met him, he was like 17.
Oh, okay.
17 or 18 maybe.
Yes, but that's still a pretty quick rise, like to get that famous
really
within
quick,
like.
Really quick. Yeah. And he was a kid. You know, he was very talented for his age for sure. But it was like a kid comic.
Yeah.
And he just like, but again, like. He kept getting the opportunities, and he would rise to the occasion.
Yeah,
right? So
that's music pop star like young fame. Do you know what I mean? Like comics kind of don't hit till they're, I'm hoping, mid-30s. but
well, look, it can happen earlier, and it does happen for people, and it's also the kind of the track you're taking, the path, what box you fit in that they need right now. You know, they kind of said when we came up with Kev, and this is
and he fits in a lot of boxes because he's small.
No dig on Kev's talent at all in any way, but from the get-go, while we were still learning everything.
Yeah.
I mean, people in the industry were essentially already saying, like, they're like, black guy, non-threatening, like to white people, little, silly, makes everyone laugh. It's not just for black audiences.
Oh, my God, wow.
They were like, get the fuck over here. I mean, he got pilots and small movie parts and everything out of the gate so quick.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which also is, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no.
Interesting as a comic, there's such an interesting thing of, like, having also to fight. When you start in, like, a group of three like we do with me, Kurt and Kev, it is interesting, like, you know, Kev blows up right away, so then you're always, in your mind, at least to some degree, held to some standard. You're like, man, well, I am definitely unsuccessful relatively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And then having to watch like that, and then me and Kurt just kind of played like the juggling game here and there. He'd get a writing gig, and I was still hurting, and then I'd get something, and then he was like, you know, like out for a while, or just like, you know, not really another thing coming up for a while, and then he'd get an hour special, and it was always just like us teetering, but we was always able to root for each other also because we were also in the mix together.
Yeah,
Kev left for LA kind of young and developed a whole new life, which, you know, I understand completely.
Yeah.
We were kids.
You do lose touch because I've already seen some of my friends who I start with get like a lot of stuff, and it's always nice when I run into them, but you don't keep in touch with them after a while when you're like a little behind.
Also, because it's also hurts. I said one of my worst days ever, and it was such a. And I started to almost say it when I was talking earlier, but he asked me to come. It's a great story. I've told it on stuff, but I'll tell it here. It's funny.
Hell yeah.
I was doing the Sacramento Punchline.
Yeah.
And
hell yeah! Shout out Sacktown.
And Kev was in town doing the Arco Arena, which is where the Kings play.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And
that's where the Warriors play right now.
We got a whole. Are they really playing there?
Yeah. Oracle Arena. Yeah.
Not Oracle. Isn't Arco? Wasn't that where the Kings play?
Oh, Arco. I thought you said Oracle. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Arco Arena, where the Kings play. And I was like, and I got a hold of him, and he was like, "Man, come over to the hotel and hang out for a little bit." I said, "Sure, I'll come over for a little bit." And I took a cab over to this hotel. The cab driver asked me, "Why are you taking a cab from one hotel to another with no luggage?" Obviously.
Yeah.
You know,
very Vegas.
I go, funny shit. I go, well, I'm in town doing the punchline. I just decided to tell this cab driver everything because I thought I'd get a kick out of it.
Right.
You know, I'm doing the punchline. And I'm old friends with Kevin Hart's in town. He's like, hey, he's playing the arena tonight. I go, yeah. I go, so we're old buddies, so I'm going to go say hi to him in his hotel for a little while.
Nice.
That'll be fun. He's like, oh, man, it's so cool. And he's like, you're a comic too, huh? I go, yeah. He goes, you're in town doing it. And it's like whatever, like 6 shows at the fucking Punchline.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a bunch of shows over there. He's like, that's so cool, man. It's so cool to have a comic in my car. And you're going to see Kevin Hart, man. It's crazy. And he starts talking for a while, and then he just goes, hey, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds, but could I possibly get tickets to the show? And I went, yeah, man. I said, for sure. I go, let me know how many tickets you want. It's like 6 shows. So just let me know what show you want to go to.
Right.
He goes, 6 shows? I go, yeah. It's 1 tonight, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. He goes, no, I meant like Kevin Hart's show tonight.
No.
And I went, nah, dude. I was like, and I kept it together enough, but it was like a kick in the gut. You're like, no, but I said, I don't know if I can get you tickets for that, man. I'm sorry. He's like, oh, man, it's worth it asking. That's cool. So as he's dropping me off, he gives me a card. And he goes, hey, take this. It's hard to get a cab out here, so just give me like a 10-minute heads up when you're ready to leave, and I'll come get you. I'll be in the area.
Wow.
Okay. So I go, I meet Kev. He has me meet him in the gym. He's working out in the gym.
Yeah, dude.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
Good alpha move.
Yeah.
I'm standing on a treadmill next to him running on it and talking to me. He's like, just catching up. He's like, what's up, man? What you been up to?
That's like a rom-com moment.
It really is. It's really hold my feet while I finish these chin-ups or whatever.
Yeah. He's the boss. Like, you know what you need to do to take to the next level, Jay?
Just working on perfect ab structure.
Yeah.
So we went outside, and that's when I said, like, the city block shuts down as he's walking by, and we go into the hotel. We go up to his room. All of his buddies are in there, and they're playing Xbox. They're playing NBA on the TV, and it's like a suite. And there's like 3 like ripped apart lobsters on a tray. It's like everything you'd think, in a beautiful room. Yeah. And Kev goes, sit down. I want to show you the intro to my new special, the one that was coming out in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
And it was one that had the pyro.
Right.
So he showed me, this is my pyro guy right here, like next to him. He's like, hey, we're going through the thing. And he's showing me him shooting out of the stage and the pyro going everywhere and everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, just like it's such a different world.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, it's such a different world. And then I go,
comedian with a pyro guy.
Dude, trying to find some level of like relating still.
Yeah.
It was so funny. This was the most soul-crushing part because I still, to this day, I bring my PlayStation 4 now, but I always brought my Xbox 360, whatever. I just bring my video games with me so I can play
of course. Yeah.
Madden or NBA when I'm on the road.
That's why the Switch is great. Yeah.
It's great, yeah. So I go, well, some things don't change, Kev. Huh? I go, you still bring, this is Xbox 360 at the time. I go, still bring the Xbox 360 on the road everywhere you go, right? He goes, oh, no, man. So whenever we land, we just have a guy go get one in the games, and then we just leave it behind for housekeeping. And I went, well, I got to get back. I got to get out of here, man. I got to get back to my show. I was like, I'm going to cry if not. I'm just like, man.
Oh, my God.
You're just like a real like thumb in the eye of just like, man, you are not making it.
Oh, my God.
And I think later that month or whatever, like a month or so later, I remember just being broke and bumming out hard. My daughter was little, and we were walking out of the mall with my ex-wife to the car, and I'm just like, it was something like I was trying to buy clothes and I couldn't afford or whatever it was. I was bumming about money and trying to have the conversation in front of my daughter so much, but like, with my ex-wife, we're still kind of talking away. I'm like, it just fucking sucks that this, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we see, and I knew what it was for, but I had to torture myself, and then I see a line wrapped around the mall leading into the movie theater. And I was like, I got to go ask. And my ex-wife, I remember just going, she goes, don't. You know you're going to set yourself up for. And I go, hey, what's this line for? And the lady goes, the Kevin Hart movie, what else? And I was like, yeah. And then my daughter, not knowing anything, she's a kid, you know what I mean? She goes, isn't Kevin Hart your friend? I'm like, yeah.
My God.
She goes, why don't you just do a movie in the movie theater? And you're like, and then my ex shutting her down was even more humiliating. She's like, stop it, Isabel. Don't say that right there. And I'm like, don't fucking correct her. Like, you're making it seem like, don't stop it. Your dad's a loser and he can't help himself. That's what she was saying in my mind.
It'd been great if they're like, we're in line to get tickets to the Sacramento Punchline.
Yeah.
Daddy, do you even have a pyro guy?
Yeah. You don't even have pyro. Daddy, why does your show not have flame work?
That story has an arc. That's like a rom-com, like the lowest point in the movie scene.
I remember going home and literally getting like teary out on the phone. As lame as it sounds on the phone with my mom.
That would wreck me. That would.
Where I was like, I just see what's going on for Kevin. I'm just like, yeah, maybe I'm not even like a tenth of the way what he's doing in his life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm still kind of like, I'm not eating at a nice place on the road at all. I just find like the hole in the wall and keep going back there. You know, we all know young comics like trying to figure out the most cost-effective.
Yeah.
I'm still opening for David Tell a ton, which was like keeping me alive financially.
That is sick.
God bless him, man.
Totally,
and also, what a learning experience.
Yeah.
To get for 8 years to just work with him like every month, that consistently was unbelievable.
Right.
But
you
know, there's also I'm getting to the point while all that's going on too. David Tell is still calling me and going, you know, hey, you want to open for me at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone or something? And I go, I'd love to. And he's like, really? You're not like headlining? He gets,
Why?
He gets like
angry.
Headlining
Acts?
Yeah. So
he's
going to
want to co-headline?
and then drag me through the humiliation of going like, I need this.
You going to call yourself big and still feature?
Yeah, no shit. But he was like, but again, also the most supportive guy, but he was always so blown away. But it's interesting for those guys. You know, Louis C.K., who's been very good to me in my career too, put me on that show 3 times.
Damn.
And David Tell, even when you hear Louie tell his story of like this 25-year struggle, or whatever, what they don't realize is in that struggle, the thing that's changed big for young comics, and listen, we've also opened up more avenues to make money between Patreon and podcasts.
But
there's a lot more avenues.
It's really hard. Very few people are making that really work.
Yes, and the real hard thing about it is what the days are over was when David Tell and Louis C.K., to the best of my understanding, from talking to them even and hearing interviews with people like that, they can't get a grip that they know I have well over an hour of material at this point. You know, David Tell's working me all these years. He's like, you have headline time, and you're headlining sometimes. Like, why are you not headlining this club? Why are you still going to open for me at it? And
Right.
Because when I call these places after I leave with you, now it's not the days of. So when Dave, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. When Dave and Louie, I think, were starting, and before them, and maybe even after them, once you had an hour of material, that was like, all right, time to go hit the road now.
Yeah.
And you just start booking, you get an agent or whatever, and they book your road gigs.
Yeah.
Now it was like, hey, I'd like to do the DC Improv. I've got a comfortable hour of material. And they're going, well, what is your following?
Right.
Like, how many asses can you put in? So can you guarantee like 2 or 3 sellouts? Like,
No. Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing the people who are coming to a comedy club that night will show up, and then maybe 5 or 10 people who know who I am will show up. And you're like, but there's no place for that anymore. Now it's like, because instead of that, I've even had in some cities where I have like light ticket, you know, if I'm going to like a Columbus or somewhere that's like it's hard to fill a room.
Sure.
Columbus, Ohio, you know.
You still have trouble filling rooms now?
Some cities, like Columbus was very good actually, but I'm saying, but some, you know, there's some places there's.
I get so sick because I even heard like Mark Norman and Joe List talk about how they're like struggling on the road. I'm like, how the fuck?
Well, because it's not selling out exactly. It's what's people latching onto? Who else is coming? There's so many X factors. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's been night and day since Bonfire started the Sirius XM show because it's exposing to so many people. Has that helped? Huge. Huge. That's been the biggest like jump forward.
No way. That's so cool.
And my thing was having Sirius XM.
Yeah, it's a great show.
It's pretty. Thank you, man. It's pretty. That's been amazing for filling.
You and Soda are hilarious too.
But when you don't fill a room, you know what I mean? You see in the back, and I, you know, just kind of arbitrarily give the sorry to the staff, you know, like, sorry. I was like, sorry, you have to go home and pay your babysitter anyway. I'm sorry.
Sure.
And then you just hear the club people always be like, oh, no, it's no big deal. Like a YouTube sensation is sold out 3 straight shows Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. They're doing 2. And it's like, what's that show? It's like, well, they're kind of singing along with the radio, and then they let you ask questions to them, and they wrote like 5 or 6 jokes. Yeah, and it's like sold out in minutes. Yeah, they're like, so they go, we don't. Now they're getting to a point where those people are supporting being able to bring in an act maybe that can't sell out. Like, it doesn't matter. Sunday we're going to make more money than if we had a theater.
That is kind of how the internet is fucking up. Have you heard of this Miranda Sings? She sells out arenas, and all she does is lip sync poorly to music and put on makeup.
Put on wacky lipstick. Yeah, my daughter loved her at one point. I don't know if she still does, but it's a personality. This stuff. I was told it was coming. It's weird, like not hearing the Paul Revere, like screeches that like the people's attention span. Like once they're able to get their content, in 3 minutes or less, like views, they will prefer it. Yeah, and I find that bizarre.
Yeah. Well, that's what's like. I don't know. I mean, but I get it in a way because like. I mean, maybe just because I'm saturated, but I almost never finish a comedy special anymore. And I'm like, are people watching these like hours on Netflix?
Sure, I think the half hour is actually not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, the 11 minutes are actually a good idea. People shit on it, but it's like, they probably made that because Netflix was like, that's how long people watch these before they quit.
That's true. Well, you know, my agents of the idea right now, I'm trying to do through Andrew Schultz's advice. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of getting the technical stuff worked out now, but I do so much crowd work.
Yeah.
in my shows. Like,
yeah,
just put a minute a week up of it.
That's great.
But, you have to have it subtitled and all that stuff takes effort and money, obviously. But my agent believes, and most people will say now, goes, that's going to do more for you than a podcast.
Yeah.
Because people just kind of drink it, and then someone goes, oh, did you watch this minute long? And they send it to somebody, and then they watch it for a minute. And it really is like it makes its way around versus telling someone, I guess, to watch, like, and watch this, take an hour of your day and watch something.
Yeah, the guys I knew this one comic is like super duper. He's like more business almost than creative, and that's what he's doing. He's doing like the 1 minute a week. Like he's like every Tuesday, new joke, new material. And I'm like, first of all, how are you getting this much fucking tape? I can't get a good 7 minute together.
Yeah, well, you also don't want to give away the stuff you want to use on things either. It's an interesting thing,
Yeah,
you don't want to give it away unless you're not going to make money. It's such a weird thing. People self-producing their first album and putting it out there, and you're like, does any of this stuff you wanted to put out something you'd want to do on a special? Because you don't want to double up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an interesting fucking thing, but people want to get a product out there.
Yeah,
especially. So I think those minute clips are not a bad idea. I'm going to give it a shot myself, but we'll see. But I was offered, turned it down, a Fuse channel, which is no longer even a thing.
R.I.P. Fuse.
It's like Fuse Music.
It short-circuited.
Yeah. They were, but they were, I was in a talks to do a TV show. I pitched to them years ago, and they came back and said, like, well, we're not going to do it on the TV show. It goes, however, for our website, we're looking for some digital content. We'll do some, and it was called webisodes. What they would call them. It was never called anything else but that.
Yeah.
At the time, I go, we'll do some, and I just heard that word webisodes. And I'm like, oh, you guys just clearly don't give a shit about my project.
Wow.
And then wish I could remember who.
Yeah.
I wish I remember who, because my old managers and everything I had. But somebody gave me the thing, like, that is kind of where things are going now.
Yeah,
like, people, one thing, I'm like, fucking 6 minute webisode. I go, I don't want it. I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
And then now it's like something that could be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy on the Streets, didn't all that stuff just start from like dicking around?
It was from Funny or Die clips.
Yeah.
That's why it's called like Funny or Die Presents Billy on the Street or whatever. They just like did like random. Still the key to, but it's funny. It's like there's new media, but the old model's still intact. You still need to have your celebrity friends in the videos. You know what I mean? You still need famous people in the mix. But the
stuff my daughter would like the Vine stars.
Oh yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. And even
Vine
with these
stuff.
Vine, I've watched. I've watched people slightly younger than me, like in their early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah.
Who are. I'll watch. I'm going to put on YouTube stuff to laugh and smoke pot. And you're like, let's watch fails. People falling off rope swings. I'm like, oh, have you ever watched like Vines? That or whatever. And it's what my daughter would like. And it's really, I just don't get it. It's like, I'm making my favorite omelet, and then you look in the omelet, and it's like cigarette butts and whatever. And like, good home cooking, and like that's like the joke. But like that gets like 1 million views somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't get it. I really still don't fully understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's just like easy comedy, like really quick. It's just like little sketches, I guess. Vine's dead, which is weird because I feel like a shitload of people watch them. Yeah.
I think someone's made 6 figures of money off of a clip that's just someone going like, my mom always be like, why don't you clean your room? But anyway, dressed like the mom for a second and cuts back to, ugh.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's making someone money off advertisement. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, as you said earlier, like when I was in LA, when I first got there, I remember the Improv had this huge night, and it was just all Vines. The only nights that really sold out, like, no cap, were the Vine Star night and the Kevin Smith podcast night. And that was it.
What was the first one?
The Vine Star night. So they just had like 5 Vine stars in a row do stand up, and and the booker was like, he was very into alt comedy, like very comedy savvy. He was like, what can I say? This fills the room, you know.
I went in the meetings with production companies before that told me those Vine stars and YouTube stars come in like. I think he was saying it was pleasant to have me come in there because I was very like, well, this is neat. You guys want to hear my show idea? And and like, there's like humility to like, this is, I'm in, first of all, I was in LA, so I was like, I'm in Hollywood. So when I visit there, there's still that verge. I'm like, oh shit.
Ooh.
Like, who thought this dipshit from Philly would end up, I never planned on that. Like, I'm in Hollywood.
You're like the Fresh Prince.
But you're going through the gate at Paramount. And you're like, this is fucking nuts.
Totally. Yeah.
And they'll go, it's such a breath of fresh air to have you in here. We've had meetings all week with like these Vine and YouTube stars, and they come in like dicks.
That's crazy.
Turning down production deals because they're like, I make more money just doing my YouTube videos or whatever.
Isn't that crazy? The guy who worked so much longer and crafted a much better product has more humility than the people who got famous by accident for horrible things.
And they'll sit in there on their headphones while the managers talk and just like listen to music and just kind of be like, what? I don't care.
Spoiled
How
brats.
much money is it? like just really like dicks like that.
That makes me so, because these are things that, like, the industry, I think, is just like is not fucking with me at any level, and these are things I would kill to be in and want to bring my best impression to, and like to hear that they were just like.
And then you got comics like scurrying like fucking roaches to find something. Like comics now putting time into like their Twitch stream.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
And it's all.
Yeah.
Look, I've even said I have to like figure out a schedule as the summer comes up myself. Like between 4 shows in Bonfire, we have to do in 3 days.
Yeah.
I do Legion of Skanks SDR show.
Yeah, you're on.
And Tuesday is like a day that I try to take off, and then going. If I have like sometimes 4 or 5 weeks in a row that I'm going on the road on the weekend.
Yeah.
Except for headlining, you'll understand this as a comic too.
Yeah.
I'm headlining every weekend or every couple weekends for sure, but I'm not doing sets in the city at all, and that's troublesome.
Yeah.
When the thing that I ultimately only want to do is stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And I love radio, I shouldn't say that, and podcasting,
Sure,
but like you got to keep these things up at a certain level to keep the people coming to see the comedy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's cutting into my time of working out comedy.
I gotta say that is that's a good impulse to have, and that's why you're such a skilled comic, because you have that. A lot of LA comics, the bigger ones with credits, who can get spots like that, they get so lazy, and they only come around when they're like trying to work out a special. They don't do like the local spots or even the club spots.
It's so important to stay sharp, even just for that feeling of. I think my biggest advantage in comedy isn't my writing. I think it's that I'm very comfortable on stage. I'm not nervous because I've had a zillion things come at me on stage for 20 years, and I'm just like, what's the worst going to happen? Everyone's going to be like, I'd find the humor in a whole crowd turning on me because it's going. I would just know that it's gone so haywire. I'm like that. I'm almost steering into that. Yeah. At that point, so that's my one like solves that is like comfort. But if you don't get on stage a lot, you will lose that comfort.
Yeah,
you'll get that thing on stage like they're being quiet for a while. Where if you're doing it all the time, you're like, no, I know something funny's coming. Like, it's confident.
That's the thing is like now like stage time, like good stage time is kind of, it's hard to get for me a little bit. But so like every time I'm in that a pause, what the fuck? But like but when I'm in a zone where I'm getting booked a lot on a lot of good shows, or I'm out of town and like doing one-liners on the road or whatever, then it's like I do so much better every time because you're just used to it and you just have those reps.
Just this again. Yeah. You're not looking at notes. You're just like,
it's like, oh, it's my second set tonight. So if it doesn't go great, I would love it to go great, but then you can go to the next one real quick.
Interesting. In my time of complaining the most, probably about my lack of whether it be money or being known enough to travel around and do all this stuff. Weirdly enough, like probably my strongest time, I felt sharpest in stand up was because I was doing on a weekend in the city like 8 spots a night. Yeah, I would run back and forth. I would pick 2 clubs. Yeah. And they both have 3 shows, and I would be like, I would say like the comic strip and Stand Up New York, right? Yeah, they're right across town from each other like that. And I would just do like the 7 o'clock show closing, 8 o'clock at the other club, and just go back 7, 9, whatever, and then 8, 10, midnight, and then run down and do like 2 at the Comedy Cellar if I could, or 1 at least.
That's great. That's the New York dream. Like that's like where I would love to get to. Just like because but
it's funny if you have the time to do all that. It's because and if you have the time and you also because here's the thing. Yeah. If you did 3 shows a night at one club, you're like, that's a good night of comedy. 100%. Getting stuff worked out. Yeah. When you're doing 7 and 8, it was because I was trying to make money, doing comedy and not being on the road. I'm like, how can I make enough money here?
And you get so sharp, probably.
You get sharp, but the thing is also it also becomes like not fun as much. So I'm saying when you're complaining, where you're like, to live, I have to run and do 3 to 4 more spots a night than I even want to on the weekends. It is funny, like you're sharp because now when I'm headlining plenty on the road, but you're like, also because I don't really enjoy. I like talking off the cuff on stage, headlining a lot. Yeah, but I also like having a new bit or two that I want to throw out there that I've tried somewhere and a set that doesn't really mean as much. Yeah, totally. Do you know what I mean? And you lose that. So now I'm trying jokes on the set. You're like, when you see have something in the middle of your set not do well 5 times in a weekend because you're giving it that go of like maybe I'm saying it wrong. And it's just not a fair way to work things out. I think.
No, it can fuck with you totally. Sure. Yeah, 100%. It's funny that you mentioned how you are on stage because I had seen your on stage stuff before I met you, and you were so different off stage than you were on. Like you're kind of you're very edgy on stage. You're raunchy. You're very New York. And then off stage. We met after you were judging a roast battle at the Comedy Store, and you were like the nicest. You were like nicer than every judge who had ever judged me.
What's funny about people said that a lot before, even with my stage. My stage thing is definitely like it's vulgar, it's dirty. There's definitely offensive jokes in it, but I think I've done. I think this is the Legion of Skanks survival. Yeah. Over the time too. despite recent events. But like,
Oh yeah.
I think over time the idea was, and I've said it on the show a bunch. The analogy is it's all with dimples though. So
Yeah.
even like the vulgar, dirty, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I have such a take if there's an older lady like making a face at what I'm doing. Like, I don't have like the can't take it, grandma. Like, on stage, I definitely have much more of like I know, miss. Like, I don't know why your people brought you here to hear this nonsense, and I don't have anything else to do, and I wish I did for you. You know, it's like because there really is a genuine like I don't want anybody to genuinely leave upset about anything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I think that sensitivity is the same reason why I'm so scathing when someone's like, fuck off the stage.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this is something I'm prepared for.
Yeah,
and I want to hurt that guy's feelings now because he's really hurt my feelings.
How long did it take to get that kind of comfortability on stage for you? Was there like a period where everything really clicked, or is it kind of still gradual?
I think it was definitely kind of gradual for sure. It was all the trajectory was I just started off writing jokes like any comic does in the beginning, try to write some autobiographical. That's when the industry starts getting to you a little bit. They start going like autobiographical. What's your sitcom? What's your blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
What's your story that people are going to know? And
They really just want you to be a sitcom character.
Yeah.
They want you like, because that's my issue. I think I'm just like a regular guy who does well. That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's no sense of like character, who I am or whatever. It's just like, oh, he just like was
we're all our own
silly.
characters.
Yeah.
The same thing that makes people laugh about you is partially your character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it
is like who you are and your temperament and the way you
Right.
say things. And but they're not taking that into a
but it's back to like that non-threatening black guy thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if Kevin announces, I'm a non-threatening black guy and I'm silly, it's like they're like, yes, that we see that on TV. We know exactly
right
what
away.
that is. Yeah.
We know where he goes.
Whereas
He
me,
fits
it's
in.
like, where the fuck this guy doesn't fit in, you know, even if he did okay or whatever.
Do you know it's a personality trait too? Kevin Hart's failures would have destroyed me.
Yeah. Wow.
Because, he had a thing I remember when we were still in touch decent amount when he first moved to L.A.
Yeah.
He did a pilot, Judd Apatow pilot. It didn't go. He shows up, but it was like Jason Segel,
Right.
Amy Poehler,
Yeah.
Judge Reinhold was in it.
The judge?
Yeah, the judge.
The J-Man?
But he was in that as a regular character, and it didn't get picked up. Moved right on. Had some other deals, didn't go anywhere. Then he had a TV show called The Big House, which was, when he was writing it, I was nervous that I'm like, is this going to get picked up? Because it was a direct reverse Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
He's a rich kid
Who goes
from
to
Bel-Air
West
who
Philly.
gets sent to West Philadelphia
Wow.
to live with his
That's
Philly family.
genius.
So he's like it's like basically
Yeah.
having Carlton at a
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
urban house.
Right.
And that was the idea for a show, and it lasted 6 episodes. It was a mid-season replacement, and after 6 episodes, got canned. And right there, I'd be in a shell.
Yeah.
What I would do is find a different medium. Then I'd be like, okay, so TV shows probably aren't
going to work, right?
Like, so maybe I should try radio. Maybe I should whatever. What am I going to do? He did specials, and those became huge.
Yeah.
After the show, and that's kind of what made him. And then the specials became huge, and he was able to go back and make. And now he's like a guy that can comfortably probably write a movie and be like, this will be good.
Yeah.
Let's get it out there. We'll have some writers work it up and tighten it. But this idea,
Right.
where you've had something where like it was solely his idea,
Yeah.
written by him and other people he employed to help him write that sitcom.
Yeah.
And in 6 episodes, they go, this stinks.
It's like this.
It's gone. And I'd be like, yeah. And then I don't know what funny is. I guess.
Yeah.
That's why
I don't understand TV.
I took a fucking script. Me, Dave, and Lewis wrote a script years ago. I
Yeah.
still have emotional problems with this. I know that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it's one of those like, it hurts to think you're wrong.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
never did. We took us 3 months or so
Yeah.
to write a pilot script. I'm sure it's not great. I know it's funny. It's definitely funny.
Mm-hmm.
I always defend that, but I'm sure it's not written in the right whatever. And I get all the probably problems with it.
Yeah.
But 2 networks looking at that and going like, it's funny, but we're just not interested in it right now. And I go, I don't know how anybody does this, dude. Because I'm like, in
You're
my
like,
mind,
did you see that Lewis is Puerto Rican?
I'm like,
Did you read that part?
what I just had more of, I was like, when we've read this thing over and over to ourselves and playing out the characters, we're reading them, table reading, I guess,
Yeah.
for ourselves, we're laughing, man. It's so funny, and it's not inside. It's
Mm-hmm.
jokes that would be universal. And everyone that read it, even like the networks and stuff,
Yeah.
always responding goes, it is very funny, but it just needs this, and
Uh-huh.
and we're not really looking for something like this right now and stuff like that. But I'm
Right.
taking it as like when I had that done, I'm like, fuck, man, we've made a funny
Yeah.
pilot script,
Right.
funnier than most pilots I've ever,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
like,
sure.
This is like out of the gates, really fun. I'm sure, but I'm saying it might even not be.
And it was
I'm
starring you
aware
guys,
of that.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even aware if it is or not. So, but in the moment, you feel like
Yeah.
This is my baby. We wrote a fucking script. Something I was like, again, when I got into comedy, it was never do anything besides stand-up comedy.
Right, totally.
So the idea that we were able to go, something that I'd go, we can't do this.
Yeah.
To doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this thing finished. I'm like, this is great. And when the network just goes, yeah, we're not interested, I go,
brutal.
You guys are walking away from the greatest comedy scene. And that's like, you don't say that, but you feel that. And then when I would have, like, I get a manager call to give me the rejection, I'd get, like, introverted for the day. Because I would just be like, man, like, really? They just didn't? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where Kevin Hart and people of the like are just like, that problem. Louis learned to adopt that, Louis C.K. Gomez.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, how about we just have like a zillion ideas? And then one of them maybe will be the one that catches. And I'm like, because I don't want to put anything out that's not me going like, I fucking believe in this.
Right, yeah.
Like, I think this is funny.
That's tough, yeah.
So it's such a weird world, and that's why I don't like sitcom acting or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm never like psyched to do it or anything.
Right,
Other people's funny, never really like
yeah.
As far as acting in it,
yeah.
I'm never that excited about it or anything. And
well, how many good sitcoms are there anymore, really? I mean, it's kind of a dying... like, I would love to be in a sitcom if anyone's casting, listening.
No, of course, but it's sort of a dying thing. Sure, like the laugh track thing is kind of done now. It's like 3-camera.
Yeah, well, like Kevin does a reverse Fresh Prince, I want to do a reverse Seinfeld about a guy who quits comedy and loses his 3 friends.
Yeah, he goes, and it's a show about everything.
It's about everything. We got a lot going on, Jerry.
Everything. A show. What's the show about? Everything.
Jerry just immediately has sex with Elaine, like in the first episode.
Nonstop. He's always nervous and fucking full of anxieties.
I'm not good with women. He only dates one woman, and it's Elaine. Why aren't we dating? And then Kramer just says the N-word still. We're going to keep that in.
Oh, man. The comics, man, that's the only indicative thing that whether you're a handsomer, a fatter, or thinner, or in shape comic, for the most part, the insecurity of comics is always going to lend themselves to the comic wife. Yeah, with the exception of a few, a guy like. Well, I'll say the comic's wife, Kevin James' wife, is always like just a fucking knockout, like way ridiculous in their like usual bunk ass situation. Yeah, except. I thought they didn't do that with
Romano?
Tim Allen.
Oh yeah.
And Romano, but Tim Allen and Romano both, I think they were fucking cool dudes in their life at one point.
Yeah, Tim Allen was selling coke.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think there's some element of that that's like comedy it's almost out of his personality to be a comic. Yeah, yeah. And his comic was actually very alpha dog. It wasn't like the woman beat you up. It was like fucking men doing men shit. Yeah, yeah, so it kind of like, but like guys latched onto that and it became a thing. Yeah. But for the most part, we're also like,
look at Sandler.
Like insecure and stuff. So it's funny to have Jerry Seinfeld. Always, every girl was always like a fucking knockout.
I think someone said he had like
Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, it's like 100 women. Yeah, Terry Hatcher was with George.
yeah. It's like, what do you guys do? Talk about a man's world and that stuff. And
my God.
When you go back to all the Harvey Weinstein shit and you're like, not that they're doing anything shitty on Seinfeld, but just the ridiculousness. Yeah, like, if they brought in like a young... fucking hot Leah Remini to play my wife in 5 years from now. Like, into the timelines of that. I'd be like, no one's gonna watch this show and think anything of it. Yeah. Why would this girl be dicking around with a fucking UPS driver who's overweight?
King of Queens is the best one because he has a horrible job. He's not very pleasant. He's the hottest wife. And then Kevin Can Wait too. He did the same thing.
Just brought her right back. Yeah.
Killed off the first hot broad and brought in another hot one.
Jim Belushi gave himself the hot chick from Melrose Place.
Oh, the 90s or the aughts, a golden age of just, hey, tens, get over here. You're going to be with Kelsey Grammer.
Everyone, do you remember he used to go on Stern Show, I think, but the guy that ran Perfect 10 magazine, it was like such the exact guy you're thinking. Yeah. Because he's trying to make it that it's tasteful nude. Perfect 10. It's not like a raunch magazine.
Sure.
But it's just an excuse for this little bald weird guy to be around these models, and just like the Hugh Hefner model, they need him. Yeah, they figure they'll get on the cover if they do. So he's probably just getting and it just warps you. I think, man. Also, the willingness to accept that is a different level of defeat than I've ever known. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've definitely I got when I was young, I got a hooker to a hotel room before and all that shit. But like. Really? Yeah, but like the beating yourself up sex. Yeah. And they always have the after you're done, what have I just done?
Right.
Shit.
Oh, the biggest shame, like just like head in your hands after sex.
Especially paying. Dude, if you pay, I mean, like maybe like 2 or 3 times in my life, I'd say, and definitely under 5. And what's funny is in that 5 or less, I'm including was being in Trinidad or something, doing a show, black show.
Yeah.
And just, again, also doing those black shows, especially going to like a Trinidad or something like that. Bahamas, I've done them in those weird places. When you do the show, even if you do good, you're like, oh, I'm not going home with anybody from here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
me after like
I'm the goofy white guy who just came in to entertain local Trinidadians who were like about to have like a fucking carnival party.
I'm here just to help the dates get laid.
That's
yeah.
it. So then go back to the hotel room and call, and I remember I got a hold of like some service that was like, it's $100 or something, which probably was all my money I had.
Right.
I'm sure in my pocket.
Right.
At the time, and I was like, yeah, let's do it, because you're just like in a mode. You're like, I want to do something.
I'm bored. Yeah.
I think I think I don't know if I even had a video game system to bring on the road then. This was before laptops were that readily available. You're on the road watching Trinidad TV.
Oh boy, yeah.
So you're like,
you gotta get a hooker.
Yeah, like, I'm getting a hooker.
What else are you gonna do?
This is my last time I ever even thought about getting a hooker. It was because I called. They go $100. I go, okay. And there's a knock on the door, like whatever, 45 minutes later, and I open the door, and it's a very like dykey looking, like black chick that looked like, and my assumption was what was said, because I go. She goes, $100, please. And as I'm handing the money, because you get very nervous as this is all happening. You're like, and that's when you're like, that's making the drug deal. No one's scared smoking weed in their house.
Right.
But if you're buying it from some guy in the park, everything's like, take that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would actually be more comfortable buying drugs, I think, honestly.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, she comes to the door, and I go, and it was just like an awful looking, like bullish woman. And I go, as I'm handing the money, I go, are you the girl? And then she saw my face of kind of like disappointment, if that would be the case.
Yeah.
So I could just see her thinking quick,
and
go like, no, I just collect the money. The girl's waiting down in the car, and I'll send her up. And I go, okay, and close the door so fast.
Yeah.
It's one of the, I don't think the click of the lock happened before I was like, I just got robbed.
Yeah.
And I just handed it to him. I was like, there is no other girl.
Yeah.
Whatever that is probably would have come in, I guess, and sucked my dick, but I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I just nervously, instead of going like, whoa, what's going on here? Which you really can do in this scenario.
Yeah.
You can definitely have.
You can pause things. Yeah.
I've seen somebody when me.
Not that I've been in this situation, but.
Well, me and Dave Smith were in. We made the mistake before trying to buy weed in the Bahamas once. You just take the first guy who's willing to get it to you, and you give the money real quick.
Yeah.
Can we just get this over with right now? When like really, when a guy's, they're clearly trying to rip you off.
Yeah.
And you know it as it's happening, but why don't you just go like, no. Like, I would do the full amount, or get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of most of us aren't like inherently criminals. So,
yeah,
when you're dwelling in that world, it still feels like I smoke plenty of weed outside, but I'm still always like,
Yeah.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm like, are you sure we're okay?
Yeah, that's what's so funny in California where it's legal. I'm still like, we're all right. Okay, is this fucking cool? Like, I have no idea.
You're still getting high the same way you did before, and you still feels like it should be illegal.
Yeah.
Like it's just our thing, right?
Because I get really paranoid when I smoke, and that's always the first. Because I just go back to high school, like just back to like we're the fuck the cops, you know?
5-0, dog.
Yeah. You knew Patrice, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember him on O&A talking about like he would go to like Brazil to get hookers or something. That's so.
It wasn't even hooker. They tried to get me to go once, and he said he would like, I'll do a gig with him that would pay for it and everything. And it was just so funny. My ex-wife is Colombian.
Yeah.
So she knows South America, and she knows what people are going to Brazil for. And so I think I go, man, you get my chick to agree, I'll go to Brazil.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I fucking know what goes on in Brazil.
Oh
He's
my
not going. Like she gave him the talking to of like he's not going
That's
to that.
so
I was like,
funny.
I was like, dude, I mean, she knows if I go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bang hookers with you guys. Yeah. She's like, I don't have the money for. I just go, what it was, my daughter was maybe a baby even at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of having the thing, I'm like, Patrice, if you're going to take me on a gig with you, like, I need the money from the gig.
Right.
Like, I appreciate you offering me a hooker time, but I'm not going to be making money that week while I'm gone.
I can't be paid in hookers.
As much as I wish the world was I got to be paid in hookers. I cannot be paid in hookers.
I would take it. If Patrice was alive, I'd take being paid in hookers. I wanted to ask you a few more questions before we go here. You toured with Korn.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I toured with Carrots.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Such an idiot. The name Korn doesn't resonate the vegetable with me anymore. You're like, Carrot goes, is that an indie pop?
One of the lead singers just named their kid Pirate, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Davis.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Pirate something. I think both of his kids have silly names.
I hope his
now.
name is Pirate Korn. Their last name is Korn.
Pirate Booty. Pirate Booty Davis.
That's kind of funny because you've toured. You've done the Juggalos. You've done Korn.
Yeah, I did the Juggalo Fest.
Yeah, or
twice.
Gathering of the Juggalos. I mean, yeah, if you want to see a bunch of clowns, I'd just go to Congress. But anyway.
Hey-oh.
I'm sorry, I wrote a bunch of these bad jokes down. But what? Yeah, what are these crowds like? I mean, because these are like kind of the
Juggalo crowds actually like they're, at least to us, like overall endearing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they're in it with you. They act like, but it's definitely their show.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's not good about it is that mild thing is that like any situation where you realize they haven't come to your comedy show. Yeah. That you're performing for them. Mm-hmm. Creates the thing in the room. So the idea I just learned with it is to not go, particularly Gathering of the Juggalos, right? Was a thing where it's like, don't go into too in depth of a joke where there's going to be any kind of layer to it. Right. Like just go because politely in the middle of it, as polite as you could be while you're going. And then my mom calls and says that I had it wrong. And then while you're saying that, a guy's going, nah, well, you got to hit this. And he's like handing you like a gas mask bong or a fucking bong or a dabs thing. And it's like, you got to kind of do it or else they're going to start chanting for you to do it. So it's like you're just sort of a jukebox playing in the background.
My God, yeah.
But it's lovey-dovey in a weird way and fun.
At the Juggalos?
I do say, except for having a good comedy audience, it's the only difference between that and like Skankfest. Skankfest is the same kind of thing. It's this following that really wants to be a part of that fucking adventure. The Korn crowds were a little more interesting.
I'm doing it for the first time this year. I'm really excited.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But the Korn crowds was a little bit. They were a rock and roll crowd there to see a show. They also, for the most part, didn't know who I was, right? And also didn't know a comic was on the tour. Really, it would just say hosted by Big Jay Oakerson. But to most people coming to a Korn show, that didn't mean jack shit.
They didn't know you were,
especially 10 years ago. You know, this is like 10 years ago now. So I would go out there and like, I think for some part of it, they'd be like, is a roadie fucking talking shit to us? Because I would do fuck with the crowd, to get them listening, and then try to like lay in some jokes. But it was that went good 90-something% of the time. Right. As weird as that sounds, like just the way I interact with the crowd made it like pretty good to do. And I had one where it just went completely haywire. Right. And there was one Mayhem Fest, which was the big amphitheater tour. Sure. Where it went bad in North Carolina. It was just, I don't know what it was. Just no one that day was into, even for the music they said they sucked. And then
opening for music is, I feel like it's probably super hard to open for a band.
Yeah, it's not that easy. The thing is, you'd have to be way giving a shit about who you're going out with. Like I did it with Korn the first time. Then that was a small tour, and then the big amphitheater tour was Korn, Rob Zombie, and a bunch of other bands. But I didn't need more than that even to be like, that's a fun show every night. Yeah. And then I did it a few years later with Slayer, which again not my favorite at all. I wouldn't have cared so much about that. Motorhead, fine. Yeah.
You have a niche, huh?
Anthrax, fine, but no. But then the main acts on that was Slipknot, which I do love. It's such a fun and like a chaotic show. That's like kind of nutty. It's like the White Wu-Tang Clan. You know, they're all over the place doing all this nutty. So that was like fun to go on that.
I'll bet that's fun.
You have to give a shit about like what you're doing. I've been, I've looked at doing festivals before, or even turned down a year of like Shiprocked is a cruise ship I do. It's like a heavy metal thing. There's been some amazing lineups in that thing, but last year's lineup was just like a lot of like I've seen these bands before. One of those I was like, I don't want to sit on a boat for 5 days to see Papa Roach again, man. No dig to Papa Roach. They're fun.
That'd be my last resort. No breathing.
Even Kevin Hart liked that song when it came out.
Really?
That's the time of our friendship. I worked at a CD store and I would steal the new CDs every day.
Yeah.
And when that one came out,
have you heard this, Roach?
You like that song, and I get it, and a little Linkin Park.
No way.
Too, yeah.
Oh hell yes, Linkin Park, baby. How could you turn down Fuse knowing they're the ones who brought Linkin Park and Jay-Z together, by the way?
Was that a Fuse show in some way?
I believe it was Fuse,
mashups?
I'm pretty sure that was Fuse who did Linkin Park Jay-Z, because I remember watching that as a kid. I was a big Linkin Park fan as a kid, and then I was getting into Jay-Z, and I watched that fusion, and I was like, I was really sad that Jay-Z seemed like he didn't want to be there at all.
Oh, yeah. Do you think...
He was like, my manager set this up.
Do you think Chester Bennington... you think it was a choke jerk? That's what I believe.
Oh, he was. You think he was? He seems sad. I mean,
him and Cornell seem like choke jerks.
Yeah, and Robin Williams too.
Robin Williams could have been a choke jerk too. I don't know. I
guess it was the Parkinson's.
If I hear somebody's hanging from the ceiling, I'll give you hanging.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible because, man, you really hated yourself. What
Yeah.
a horrible way to go.
That's so tough.
When you could just inject felonious amounts of heroin into your
heroin,
veins.
drugs, yeah.
I don't know why people don't do it that way. So that's why I figure a lot of these.
Yeah.
And the only kind of like support we've gotten from the theory.
Yeah.
Is that apparently
I love it. The
choke
theory.
jerking
Yeah.
is a similar euphoric experience when in that moment
Yes.
as opiates.
Yeah.
So they say a
Wow.
lot of like former heroin addicts
Go into
end
that.
up doing. That's why you see like celebrity Michael Hutchins
Bill
died
from
from
Kill
that.
Bill.
David Carradine,
Yeah.
the lead singer from INXS.
Yeah.
And those two
Yeah.
people, it got widespread news that they died
Yeah.
jerking off while choking
That's
themselves.
a tough headline.
And I think everyone saw that it, like their legacy is nothing but.
Yeah.
As there's not an INXS song comes on that
Yeah.
you hear it, you're like, doesn't make me think of the 80s or anything other than
yeah.
I go, oh yeah, that guy fucking died.
Yeah.
choking his
Love will
dick.
tear your dick apart. No, wait, that's Joy Division. God damn it.
But he those guys. That's why I think now with like Chris Cornell
Yeah.
and Chester Bennington, I think both of them, the families are like, it's probably better to say he was depressed and hung himself than because they're doorknob jerks. But I'm like, you don't hang yourself from a doorknob thinking you're gonna kill yourself. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think what happens is you pass out, flash knockout. We've watched videos of that happening when
Oh
you're
my
getting choked like that.
God.
You
Yeah.
flash knockout, and then the thing is you're just unconscious being choked.
Fuck.
So you're not going to wake up ever.
That's so scary. Well, Chester, it just seemed to me like he had a lot of pain, which you kind of don't take seriously as much with Linkin Park because they're kind of like poppy more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like he was maybe suffering. But
Very possible, yeah.
I will say if I was going to go hang, I'd probably try and jerk off first just to see what it was like. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Or at least try it a few times before you hang yourself. It's like
said-
worst case scenario.
I need to get some principle behind me so I can go to Shark Tank with something like a self-releasing
Yeah.
fucking choke jerk mechanism or something.
Sharks, what if you could jerk off and it felt really good, but you might die?
She goes, I know, real problem, right? What if I tell you I've solved that problem
Mark
with a
Cuban-
time released?
Mark Cuban immediately makes you a huge offer.
I got this. I need this for Nowitzki.
So I did want to kind of bring this up briefly. What did kind of bring us together on this was an unfortunate incident with all the Milo controversy that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk
ridiculous.
about this again, but
No, sure, it's fine.
yeah, I'll just touch on it briefly because I will say there's a bunch of, just to catch up the listeners, a bunch of hubbub around the Legion of Skanks booking Milo Yiannopoulos, who's like very controversial. And it came to the point where Jay was arguing with the guy who was supposed to roast battle that night.
Yeah.
And
It was such insane things he was saying.
it's weird because it's like he was being a very like
Ultimately, the thing that happened was a bunch of young comics jumped in and said, we booked Milo on the show. I'm the naive idiot. I take blame in many ways for a lot of this myself. I won't even with Dave and Lewis.
right.
I don't know what Dave and Lewis like thought of it happening, but when I heard that guy Milo, I was like, sure. And also, we were doing it on Memorial Day,
Right.
so it was also a thing of like, I kind of hope he cancels, realizing it's Memorial Day, because I don't feel like going to do a show. I wanted to take off Memorial Day, just be home.
Well, that'd be
So it was fun. And then the next day that I said that to myself, like all this blew up, and there was nothing I want to do more than interview this guy because people, and I couldn't understand like
it made me want to listen to it more for sure.
course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I'm sure there's a zillion things I don't agree with Milo on and a bunch of stuff. It wasn't that. I'm just like, we're having him on Legion of Skanks, though. It's like, know the show before you're acknowledging that he's going on anything in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of stupid to get upset about.
Yep.
But young comics, which I reacted online, which I wish I wouldn't have in hindsight. But well, I'm fine that I actually reacted online. But like, just showed my ass a little bit, I guess, in the way that like I actually am pretty sensitive to stuff. And it was
Me
like
too.
when I saw young comics or people that I just like have met or been, you know, and I know a lot of young comics from roast battles and stuff.
Yeah,
roast battles. So this is a guy. I'm seeing people write negative shit about me who I've shook hands with before, who've done our festival before, who are things where I thought they would look at me the way I looked at when I got to the thing. And it was Patrice and Colin and all these guys and Bill Burr was like, Bill Burr was a little bit above us at the time.
Yeah.
And so you see these guys like, wow, these guys are doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they were coming at us, and it was just, I don't know, and threatening to throw things at us.
Crazy.
And then the ending, I don't know if we really knew what the ending of that was me saying, like, trying to get him to understand, because he couldn't, that throwing things at us is violence, it's inciting violence, and if there's retaliation, like, you're bringing that on.
Yeah.
Like, you're threatening to throw things, and we're telling you, if you throw things at me, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're saying like, well, then you're a violent lunatic. It's like that's the belief system.
You started. Why is it more violent? Not
because they were
going
going to throw milkshakes. They go, are milkshakes really going to hurt you? It goes, I just don't think you. I can't believe. It's like
Yeah.
I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah. I'm a grown ass man.
But I couldn't wrap around and explain it to him. So when it came to it, I was getting so irate, trying to talk reason to another adult, and having him look at me and be like, "That's not," like saying it doesn't make sense, basically. Which I don't know how it doesn't make sense. I told Matt Maron, who runs the show, I was like, "Hey, buddy," I go, "I'm gonna get out of here. I think I know." But I was only doing a minute long thing. You know, ultimately, it was more just like a judge, and not even judge there, right? It's more just like officiate.
Yeah, you're just kind of
comments.
Yeah, it's just kind of a commentary. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, this kid, even after all this, I'm like, this kid wrote his jokes and shit. Like, you know, he wrote his things. I go, let him roast battle, and I'll get at it. We'll do it another time. I'll come back and do it another time. But I can't. I just can't sit here. I said, I'm gonna hit him. Like I want to hit him.
Yeah.
And I go, that's not a good thing. So I'm gonna go. And then Matt was like, oh, you know, he was sort of like, let's see what we can. And then that kid I was arguing with goes, he's like, I mean, if you think it's more important for, you know, Jay to be here than me, he goes, I fully understand that too. And it's another thing. It was just running his mouth again on the whole thing. And I was like,
he thought he was in the clear.
It's definitely more important. I'm like, watch. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then Matt was just like, all right, buddy, we're going to let you go. And it's just like, why are you like twisting a It's like, dude, I already did the coolest thing. I fucking dressed you down. And I'm like, do your show. I guess.
Yeah. It was big of you. And this other guy's very big. But it was big of you. But it was big of you to offer that. And it sucks that it's a shitty situation. I'll just say I listened to the episode with Milo, and I kind of didn't see what the big deal was. I actually think that all that conversation and tension around the booking was much more damaging for like the discourse and the scene and the culture than one podcast episode.
Absolutely, and the podcast was just
it was just bits.
He's a bit of a character.
Yeah. Sorry, but it's true.
Yeah. You know, Ari jumping. Yeah. I mean, the funniest moment to me was Ari just piggybacking him, shitting on us for not being good on Rogan. He kept saying, it's so fun. I mean, Ari just go, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. It was making us laugh. And he was, listen, is he a harmless person in the grand scheme of the world? I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I really do think so. But like, you know, there was moments on the show where, listen, when he went out of the room to finish reporting his former landlord to ICE to have her deported for being here illegally, we all say in the thing, we're like, this is awkward. Yeah. And if anyone asked me, is it something I would ever do? Like,
I just thought that was bad radio.
It was just leaving, and then sitting on the phone for a while. Dave said it to him too. He goes, "Hey, Milo, you know we're doing a show here. Yeah. While you're telling us to shush while you're waiting on hold. Yeah. All bitchy and gay.
To evict some Honduran person.
Okay, we said we were all kind of like, if you were saying to me, it's like, was I for that? I'm like, no. But here's the thing: he knew what he was doing. Yeah. He did a stunt. I think he actually did report it. So it would tell me with how much his ducks were in a row there. That call was happening no matter what. Yeah. And at the end of the day, there's also an argument to be made, which I think people turn off to right away, that you go, look, I think what he did was a dick move to have her deported. I think what she did trying to get him evicted illegally because she doesn't like his politics is a dick move. Yeah. And the thing is, if you're going to be that lady and scream, you know, try to get a guy, if you're going to fuck with a guy, that's what that is doing. You're fucking with him, trying to get him evicted for nothing. Yeah. If you're going to fuck with a guy, like, you're dealing with a guy who's going to try to fuck you harder. Yeah, Make sure your papers are legal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what everyone thought. If it was just like this lady, but I checked her out and she's totally here illegally. Yeah. Then the joke would be more, it's like, suck a dick, Milo. Now you got to fucking.
Which he would. He would love to suck a dick. I love dick. I'm gay.
But you know, will we ever even meet this guy again? Like, I don't know. It was more just like the point of like, I can't believe what
comics, that was
divisions it threw down, and then comedians
going on such a hard essentially free speech idea, because it wasn't a political event. It's a podcast, guys.
I love that Bill Maher was on Howard Stern this week. Yeah. And really, he was coming at the left a little bit, even though it's like kind of his people. Yeah. And his audience, for sure. He says it about the left, man. He's like, the left are the ones saying, like, it's like freedom of speech, unless you're saying something I don't like. Yeah. And that's weird, because you always thought all the right thing. Growing up in my mind. Yeah. I didn't grow up in a political house at all, but when you just hear what's what in the world, you're like, well, no one in my family is like a suit and tie guy every day going to an office building. Yeah. My family's everything from like the door-to-door salesman to the fucking, my dad tests underground diesel tanks. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I never thought I was like in that part of the world. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a much more blue-collar thing.
Sure.
I had a point, and now I'm stoned.
Hell yeah, dude.
The Republicans and Democrats. Yeah, the left and the right, basically, I'd say. But like, the left really are they're the ones combing through comedy right now. Well, because the right, bizarre.
The right used to like. I was just watching this movie, Good Night and Good Luck, which is about like McCarthyism. And it used to be like the right got the government to interfere with free speech. That was like how they put Lenny Bruce in jail, and like George Carlin went to like the Supreme Court, which is wild. And then there was like a good 20 or 30 years where comedy was fun. And then social media came out, and now I feel like it's coming from the left of like trying to self-censor people and get things taken down. Like, there was this New York Times article called like The Brainwashing of a YouTube, and they were just like, they profiled some guy. The whole story was he watched a bunch of Republican YouTube videos and became extreme. And the extent of the extremism was he was extreme, and then he just decided to watch different YouTube videos and then became a leftist. So everything turned out okay. But that's the whole story. This is the front page of the New York Times. Clearly just like putting pressure on people, like take down videos, and like they named all these individual people. Like they put Rogan on there and Jordan Peterson, and they like lumped him in.
When was this on? Today's
the other day, like 2 or 3 days ago.
And Milo kind of like called about this.
Yeah, he
on
did.
The show. He said this is actually coming down the pike very soon. And that Crowder guy. I listened to his.
Yeah,
I've never listened to Crowder in my life. James Crowder,
Steven Crowder.
I don't even know his name. I've seen him get in an argument with Rogan on his podcast once. Yeah, when I just type in on the road sometimes. On his board, I type in Rogan versus.
Yeah,
and just click on whoever. So I've heard the name from that before. Only. Yeah. I guess he's a political commentary guy. He's calling himself a comedian. I don't know, but I listened to his half-hour thing, and it's just like they're talking about demonetizing him. Yeah. And my only thing on that is just like, it doesn't even really matter to me what he said. You know what I mean? Assuming he's not saying like, you know, whites organize and take out blacks and whatever. It's just a bunch of like nonsensical bullshit. Even if it's like racist humor, like who gives a fuck? Yeah, it's like, and I said to demonetize him, it's like, if somebody wants to fucking ad, like, talk to the ad agencies. Yeah. So you don't have to really demonetize. You don't have to say he can't do ads or something like that. Yeah. Just if you want to put out things, and then you let people who choose to advertise or not.
That's how this should work. And it's weird to see also, like, you're leaving up to these discretion of these, like, mysterious companies that don't tell you why they're demonetizing people. They don't have to tell anybody why they do it. So that's actually anti-liberal to give corporations so much fucking power.
But it's getting done what they want done. Exactly. It doesn't matter.
But that's an ends that I don't like that ends to the means shit. You know what I mean?
I hate it.
I'm principled, and I hate to say it. Like, I have a lot of socialist and leftist friends who hate me for my stance on. I mean, like, I'm very liberal, but when it comes to free speech, suddenly I'm on the other side, which is bizarre.
I know. It's like, should Trump not be president anymore? Like, absolutely. I don't want to fight anybody who thinks he should be in office still. Like, I just don't care that much, man. It's really not like.
Yeah, I hate Trump mostly for like how he's made liberals react in a lot of ways.
I hate Trump. I mean, look. I mean, who's gonna ever Harvey Weinstein? What a just human garbage.
I like him. I stand that.
No, but you gotta honestly, you have to go fishing with the guy.
Yeah, we're having him on next week
to really know him. But I mean, obviously, just a fucking monster.
Of course, the worst fucking. He's a criminal.
Absolutely a criminal who should have been caught years ago. You wish, and just a terrible, terrible guy. Yeah. However, he wants to look to one person to thank for all this blowing up in his face. It's Trump. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Once Trump did is grab him by the pussy and became president. Yep. I mean, if a girl was ever side tit touched by accident on like an arm around the neck thing, are questioning it now. It's like, well, was I? And then people are going fucking crazy. And then look. In the quote unquote witch hunt they do, the good news is like you catch fucking terrible people. You know, like, people got away with shit for so long.
I was
Bill
thinking
Cosby and fucking Harvey Weinstein, monsters.
My heroes, all of them.
Yeah, every one of them, my heroes.
There's a great picture.
Did you read my autograph book? Are you reading through my autograph book right now?
Brett Ratner, Kevin Spacey, my heroes.
Hitler, Napoleon, Mussolini, a young Mussolini.
The devil.
Satan himself. Satan P. Stevenson.
You know, Lucifer did some good. He's a great podcast guest, first of all. Did you
ever see the movie Angel Heart?
No.
That was the worst naming for a devil character ever. His
Angel
name was
Heart.
Louis Cypher.
Louis J. Cypher.
Louis J. Cypher.
Come on, dude. We're going to go to hell. The 7 deadly sins.
Work for Satan. Satan Fest.
Yeah, we're in real ass hell. Real ass sinner of the week.
Real ass sinner of the week. It's Hitler again.
You're the GOAT, dude. You're great. How you keep doing what you're doing?
Real ass dude of the year.
You know, Hitler really kept it real ass. I mean, he was not phony. You have to give it to him on
Never stopped painting. Always kept up with his art.
I would love, I wonder if he did. There's actually great photos with the side thing. There's some photos of Keanu that just came out where every single picture he takes with a woman, his hand is so far behind. And honestly, I should to all my dude friends react the same way. Like, Smart. Very smart. Do not catch a case.
Do you know what I do when I take pictures, even with couples and stuff? For
Yeah.
the most part, I mean, sometimes I never for sure grab a waist.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing all this stuff about the low back touch, which makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, who does a low back? I'm like, oh, it's a guy sliding by you or whatever. I'm like, I would just know. I would never think to do that. I'd more tap you on your shoulder first and be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
But the low back thing. But when I do arm around women for not hugs of people I know, but arms of women for pictures, man, I actually keep like fists almost.
Nice.
And just keep it like, and sort of on their lower back or middle back, but I want them to feel that it's like, I'm not even like touching you really.
100%. Yeah. I mean, this is where being a huge pussy with women really came in handy. It's like, this guy has not been inappropriate.
I've said that 1,000 times because they would make the jokes. You walk to the cellar and Keith Robinson, how many Me Too's you waiting to catch? And I go, none. I go, shut the fuck up. There's nobody. I go, I think I can confidently say nobody simply because I'm rejection, like fear of rejection. So
Same,
I've never even approached a girl to have sex that I didn't feel like she was going like, are we gonna fuck or what?
Yeah. I'm a sure thing guy, which hurts with women overall. I'll say.
I've got plenty. I've had a career of leaving a town and someone going like, I can't believe you didn't try to fuck me or take me back to your room.
Yeah.
In wherever.
Yeah.
Whatever part of the country it was. And I'm like, oh, man, no, I'm not going back there for God knows how long. When does David's Hell work again? But, so it is that thing because I'm not aggressive at all. But, and yeah, it was really just like, it goes back to one girl, man. The second girl I thought I was going to have sex with.
Yeah.
She was my girlfriend for a little while, but I thought we were going to fuck one night. She's naked.
Mm-hmm. Wait, she was naked?
She was naked. I was eating her pussy.
Hell yeah.
And then I went and got a condom because that's what I did.
A gentleman does, yeah.
And said the words like, I guess I'm going to be needing this. And she went, no. And then I immediately smiled because I thought she meant like, don't even worry about it. Let's just fuck without it. And then she goes,
no.
I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, no, I don't want to have sex. Like, I'm a virgin. And I was like, oh. And then I just gave her a talking to, like not like a
talking to,
not an angry. That's the wrong way to put it.
Looky here, lady, you're naked on my bed.
No, not a talking to. Again, a talking to for like the future. I go, well, look, this is all great because I'm me, but I can really see this being a problem if you have an aggressive guy.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty certain, like you are naked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're not just making out. Like it's like so. It's like you might just want to let people know that beforehand.
Yeah,
if it just happens again.
That's a good thing to say in like the kissing stage for sure.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna have sex. I'm a virgin, whatever. She was a virgin, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't have any problem with it, but I was just saying it was so deep in the game that I'm like, I remember watching the movie The Program at that point in my life. Still, you remember that movie at all with Latimer?
No, I don't.
It's just a scene where it's so over the top. But it's the guy on steroids in the football team that was like making out with a girl, and she goes, "No, I don't want to do that." And it's like by one sentence later, he's like throwing her across the room, smashing her into things.
Oh
like,
my God.
What are you, cock tease? You're gonna? And it's just like, I'm like, I guess that exists, miss, and maybe you should be aware of that and not trust that every guy is going to be me and go, oh yeah, I didn't want to have sex either because it's weird. Everything's weird. Because that's what it was. I felt so embarrassed.
Yeah.
That she didn't want to have sex. Not even rejected.
It's an ego blow in a weird way.
I didn't feel rejected because she said she's never had sex. So it wasn't like she was turning me down.
It's not personal, right?
She was like, I just haven't had sex yet and I don't want to yet. And I was like, okay. But I felt so humiliated by the ask that I never, ever wanted. So even forwardness I have with a chick sexually is always rooted in joke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, all right, well then I guess we shouldn't go back to my room and smoke weed and have sex then. And then you see if it's kind of like, is that an offer? He goes, I'm not going to offer something you're going to say no to. Like I play a coy girl move the whole time. But because of that, there's never a girl that's going to be like, I was asleep, I was drunk and don't remember. If a girl's too drunk where she's doing like the, it's not even about like they're too drunk to fuck. I know it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, what's this girl going to do? Like, she's going to puke at some point. I'm going to have to babysit after a while. Like, to fuck like a limp noodle for the next fucking...
I'm not into it. Yeah. I need...
But it's circumstantial, man. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I have plenty of friends that were like, man, I had a girl accused me of something years ago. And a guy telling you where it's like, no, man. You know what I mean? Like, someone I believe would tell me it was like, it was a little rough. But not even that. Not even like little rough stuff. Just a girl flat out like was angry at me.
That friend was Louis C.K.
That man, Louis C.K.
I don't know. I hope no one writes an article about me. If they do, it's fine.
It's a a good impression.
Thank
Good
you.
Louie.
I do it every episode. I start with Cosby, end with Louie.
Perfect.
Have you talked to Louie lately?
I haven't talked to him lately, but I know people who have talked to him, and he's doing okay. He's touring a bunch, seems like. So I mean, he's around doing. I think he's doing comedy clubs, which is kind of cool to see him in that environment. And he'll be back. You know, let's hope, man. Let's hope he'll be back. They're really. It's like everything, man. You got to get like the bulk, blunt force, like punch of this all out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you could start going into some nuance. Yeah. You have to start going into some nuance into people's, like whether you're letting them back in the society or not. And I think Louie's thing, the nuance of that, like really makes it where you're like, throw a fucking stone and think you or a friend hasn't like, I definitely know people besides Louis C.K. What's move was like, you know, something a little more along the lines of like, yeah, you like this dick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And like, but I don't think I'd be friends with a human being who would. I listened to all those things, waiting to go. I guess Louie's a fucking monster piece of shit. Waiting to read one story that had him block a path to leaving.
That's what I thought was gonna come
Me too.
out. Yeah.
And when none of it was, I go, am I reading it wrong? Like, why is he being vilified as such a creep? Versus to me, it sounds like a guy who's like pretty awkward and does an awkward thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's because he's bald. If he had hair, he'd be fine.
Ginger and bald.
I think that was the Aziz thing. I feel like that Aziz
Indian?
story. I was like, if he was not a short Indian man, this would not be. If this was James Franco, this would not. If this was all Franco did, it'd be fine.
If she didn't smell all of those fucking Indian spices in his bush.
I got some curry. Oh no, I'm being accused of rape.
I'm a rapist.
I got me too. I got me too.
Don't talk about me on Twitter.
I hope I don't trend today. Although he's doing Radio City, so I guess he's fine.
Is he again?
Yeah, he's doing it in like a few weeks. So
good for him, man.
I saw him actually pop in at the Cellar one time, and it was funny. You could see the difference between his new rougher material and his old material, because the first half was all anti-woke stuff, and then this last half was all anti-racist stuff. And it's like, oh, that's the stuff you were working on before they came for you.
He's like, time to get this out.
Yeah. What was your experience on Louie like? Did you like doing that? Was that cool?
It was fun. Yeah, it's just any acting thing though, man. I'm really just don't have a passion for that.
Yeah.
So like,
you're on Crashing too.
Yeah.
Was he auditioning like Pete Holmes made you watch him fuck?
Yeah, I had to watch. No, it's I just like auditioning. I don't think I'm very good at auditioning. And then the reality is, I just did a movie thing too for like 3 days. I was on. It's gonna be like a legit, like, you know, feature release like movie, but like now that it's done, that I'm done my part and it's gonna come out or whatever, like great.
Yeah.
But like the days of, man, I mean, I just spend the whole day going like, how much more do I have to do? Like, it's, and I love the actual from action to cut is exciting and it's fun, and whatever. But I mean, like, how many times from action to cut to action again in the same scene is like 40 fucking. It's just insane.
Yeah,
I just don't like sitting around. I don't know how to.
You're a comic.
I'm not good at entertaining myself that long, and I don't like that if I say funny things, especially, there's no reaction to it.
Yeah, they hate jokes.
Well, it's not that. It's like they can't react because they're.
Oh, right.
Like no one, like I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I used to. I did a show called.
Confidence.
I did a show called Z-Rock for 2 years on IFC channel. That it was about a band who was like a rock band by night, and by day they played for like kids' birthday parties. And
That's
it's
fine.
basically a story of them trying to make it, and it was uncensored, IFC.
Nice.
Shot Curb Your Enthusiasm style, where you make up your own lines.
Oh yeah.
Which was super fun to do that.
That
but my whole thing was, we basically in my scenes, we'd roll with the improving, basically, you know, or ad-libbing. We have the framework of the scene, you know. Jay, you and Robbie, you're gonna come in. Robbie's, you know, clipping his toenails, and you're gonna yell, and you're ultimately, so you have to leave to go to a meeting.
Yeah,
and it's like argue about the toenails.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and whatever, and it's that kind of thing.
This sounds like a great scene.
So you could like argue, and it was great. And I would just roll until like they had to yell cut because they finally saw on the, you know, the director's screen, like you finally see two cameras going like laughing at what I said.
Right.
And then that was at least. I got comfortable with that to be like, okay, I know. Let me go until I break them.
Yeah.
And then that's my reaction. I still felt like the warmth of that. But like, I did like Jim Gaffigan's podcast and everything. You're doing these scenes that like you're supposed to be doing a funny thing or saying a funny thing.
Right.
And no one's reacting.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, because that's
and especially when it's like a long day and they're so over it anyway.
Yeah,
you're genuinely not making them laugh. They're not even saying cut and going like, that was really funny. It's like, cut. We need so and so over here now. And you're like, that was pretty funny when I said that thing back there. Right. And you're like, what? Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's great about comedy is that we got into this because of the external validation. That's like the great, it is so great. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
For better or for worse.
To get that external validation, you have to wait a year and then go to the premiere. And then what if it bombs? That sucks. That's the worst.
I did a scene in 2 scenes that should have, story-wise, bookended the movie. I mean, small scene, but 2 scenes that bookended the movie. Isn't It Romantic? The Rebel Wilson, Adam Devine movie that just came out. It's rom-com. And one of the other, not Thor, but the other Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth.
Liam, yeah.
Yes.
And they were the ones that, and I had funny scenes, 2 of them with that bookend the movie with me and Rebel Wilson. They were great. And like, how many condolences I got? They made it a PG-13 movie. Those scenes definitely are.
Oh, right.
I don't know if that's the whole reason,
That
but I'm saying,
sucks.
but I assume it is because it's a PG-13. Those scenes wouldn't have been PG-13.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so they cut it out or whatever the reason may be. It's just like when they cut it, everyone gives you with such like, I'm so sorry. It's just a terrible. It goes, the only anger I have towards this is that I was on that set that day for 14 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, that's for nothing. I don't care. But it's like being in a movie. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll forget I'm in that movie eventually, even though I'm not in a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
Or stuff. You're just like, I'll forget about it because like it's not a movie I'd watch.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Getting cut. I mean, that sucks. Like to spend so much time, look forward to something, and then you're cut out of it. It's like it didn't matter.
In a weird way, much more hurt. I was much more crushed when me and Metzger got our first opportunity. They let us co-headline the Punchline in San Fran.
Oh, I love that place.
So I know this might be closing down.
No, it's back. Chappelle rallied
saved
the
it.
Government. Yeah, they saved it. Google's like, just kidding.
Really?
Yeah, Google was like, no. Yeah, we're looking forward to our new neighbors.
That's great.
I mean, that's what happens when the biggest comedian is shaming you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, because
that was Google trying to buy the building and knock
Google
them out.
tried to buy the building. Well, they leased out the entire, the whole building.
That's great.
And so they're like, well, now you're our new neighbors.
That's awesome. Good. I love that club. But we went together to go do it. Much more disappointing was as soon as we landed, we get a phone call. Chappelle's in town. He wants to do the weekend. So, like,
yeah,
you guys can do, like, one of you will do 5 minutes on one show.
Fuck.
One of you do 5 minutes on the other show. And then he'll let you know tomorrow. He'll let us know tomorrow if he's going to stay for tomorrow.
Oh, God.
And then after he did that the next day. And then he'll let you know tomorrow if he's going to do the third and last day.
I feel bad bumping people like that.
And he did all. I would too. As I'm saying, it's
Yeah.
not my personality. But I'm saying, if it makes sense, like, I was much more crushed by that weekend.
Yeah.
Even getting like bullshit with Chappelle and all that stuff. In my mind, I was like, this is a club that everyone talks about, and they're giving us a chance to fucking co-headline it. They'll get us, ease us in, and we'll make some. It'll be just a fun weekend. And then it just becomes like, we're just in.
You're just doing.
You're also bored when you're like, we're not even going towards anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like your day. Usually it's like, all right, we got to get back. Got to shower up before the show.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't even have to. I don't think he used me even once. Maybe
Damn.
he used me once, and he used Kurt because he remembered Kurt from on set at Chappelle Show.
Yeah. Didn't Kurt write for
Kurt
Chappelle
did some
Show?
writing for it.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's what a great credit to have under your belt. The Chappelle Show. Is Dave the most famous comic you've met, or
Chappelle?
Yeah.
Probably, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Other than like, I guess like Seinfeld. I met Seinfeld.
You met
before.
Seinfeld?
Yeah. When we were first coming up to New York, he was doing the movie Comedian
Oh shit.
at the Cellar.
That movie made me want to do stand up.
Yeah. Orny Adams, I remember watching him. So funny because Orny Adams is looked at such a clown in that movie.
Yeah.
They kind of clown him in that
They
video.
really fucked him, I think.
And it's so funny talking about coming from like your town to New York and seeing something different though, because we were coming from the black circuit.
Yeah.
And Keith Robinson brought me and Kevin Hart to Gotham Comedy Club one night when he was working.
Mm-hmm.
Keith was hosting, I think, and he brought up Orny Adams. And I just remember Orny Adams had a joke early on about like, I'm a nervous guy, and I was on the bus the other day, and it says 1 in 4 people has lupus or something like that. And I looked on the bus, and it's just me there. I was the only one, and so I'm like, I have lupus. I'm doing a no just whatever the joke was, something about that. Sure. And then whatever it was, 15 minutes later in the set, he goes, and I go in the store to yell at this lady, and she goes, are you the guy with lupus? And me and Kev looked at each other like someone just showed us how to split an atom. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Just brought, because we just saw a technician do something. Whether like love him or hate him, I'm just saying.
I love Seinfeld.
Well, I wasn't even Seinfeld. That was Orny Adams.
Fuck.
Orny Adams did that thing, and we were just like, so it was funny seeing him be the clown of that documentary, because I was like, that guy's such a strong writer.
Right.
Because I just, all we knew was, I knew how to get a crowd on board by fucking humping a stool and talking about how good you eat pussy.
Yeah.
Or just a guy having a thing where it was like, I watched the actual scientific, like, is that even the right word? I think it sort of is. I watched the science of it, the sports science,
the craftsmanship.
What he did, it's like the same thing where you go before. It's like obviously, if you don't even overthink it, but if you pick like the hard CK words, why fuck works so good,
right? Or Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, like Seinfeld talks about that, where he says there's certain words. He like the boron joke. I think he talks about it in that movie where he's like he looked at all the elements and he thought boron was the funniest possible word.
He did a good interview with Stern where he talks about that too.
I love that interview.
He said it means something to him.
Oh, that's where he said it.
Yeah, he's like picking out which one to. I always say it because it came up again when he talked to Bill Maher. He brought up that.
He even recycles anecdotes.
Yeah, they were talking about.
They
were talking about just comedy in general and what they do and like the take on it. Because Bill Maher said he's not really a big like writer either.
Yeah,
it's more like flow with the ideas.
Maher is not nearly as good at stand up as Seinfeld. I like Bill Maher, but I've seen him do stand up and it's.
Bill Maher's a different thing though than Jerry. He's not. I wouldn't even say what he is.
He's kind of like a commentator at this point. Yeah,
he's doing like TED Talks with like some humor in them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dennis Miller for the left a little bit.
Yeah. Who I used to think was fucking hilarious too.
I've heard Dennis Miller. Everyone like worshipped him in like the '90s. Yeah,
he was good. Man.
He kind of started the alt comedy, like reference based comedy, right? Like
which I love and I employ plenty, man. I'm a real big fan of references,
dude.
Man. Just making weird ones.
References are sick, dude.
Even when I didn't know them.
Yeah.
I remember he had one. He was like, the guy's balding. It looks like the crop dusting scene in North by Northwest, and I'm coming around the corner, and just like that. And whatever it was, just the just how I heard it, I mean, the way I took it in, and just like I just know it's funny because like he's telling you it's funny in the confidence.
I had the exact same experience, but it was Patton Oswalt was that guy for me. I was like, oh shit, like I didn't know you could like reference a movie and just dissect like the Star Wars prequels. Now everyone does that kind of shit. But
sure.
Like,
You just you realize if you paint a picture for everybody.
Yeah, that was kind of inspiring to me that you could like. Because most people don't get most references, but if you can like kind of do it in a way that's like artful, they'll laugh.
It's sort of the building what I do when we do the crowd work shows. In the beginning, I had a hard time getting good comics too, to like agree to go. I mean, these are killers, hilarious guys.
Right.
Being like, well, I don't want to go towards the end of the show. Everyone's already got the where you're from, what do you do? And I go, I know, but that's the beauty of like being a comic is like we already know what he does and what she does. We know how long they've been together. We know they broke up for a little bit. We know it's like roll. Like, you now have like the semblance of a full narrative you can create.
Fuck yeah, totally.
They have a pool. There's funny shit, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do a lot of riffing too, and it kind of bums me out when comics have like can't do anything off the cuff or can't be naturally funny in a way or like build on stuff like that. It's like. So you just go up there, just do exactly what you plan all the time. Like there's no room.
Man.
It's just like isn't the magic of I mean, I actually admire that when someone's like that good of a joke craftsman. Like Jerry's kind of like that a little bit.
Listen, I think Curtis too. David Tell, purists, man. They have the jokes, and David Tell changes the set every time.
Yeah,
always, and so does Kurt actually a lot. But I'm saying the jokes are the jokes.
Tell also
though.
riffs and crowd works a lot. Though,
he does,
too, right? Yeah,
he does. Kurt doesn't do that quite as much, and they have the ability to. But Tell actually is much more in his comfort zone.
Yeah,
when he's doing like bits.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like his bits. He likes that much better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's great at whatever version he does, but I mean, he's sort of like that. But it's fun, like to. But I've had that where I have, hosts on the road or a feature on the road, like a local person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do a little bit of crowd work too. Is that a problem? I know you do crowd work. Is it a problem? I'm like, no. I go, but if would it be helpful if I don't see your set? I'm just like when I come in, like, give me the rundown on some of the things.
That's
just
smart.
The obvious is in the front. I'm like, just tell me because like. All it saves, which wasn't a big deal, but I've just had it happen a lot. I'm like, you guys are married, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then the crowd goes, oh. And you're like, what? There's some other story there? Well, I wasn't fucking here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I swear to you, my third question is about fucking her. Did you guys get into that already?
I did a check spot at New York Comedy Club, right? Maddie Smith read it before me, and like there was like a. I forget the exact circumstance, but I like to do like a little riffing up top too. And there was like people in the front. I was like, oh, whoa, that's funny. It's like one woman and then a bunch of young-looking kids. It's just like a chaperone thing, like a prom, just some stupid thing like that. I was like, oh, okay, I'll riff on that at top. Right before she gets up, she's like, oh, is this like a prom, like a chaperone? It just destroys. I'm like, fuck.
That's so great. Like, damn it.
Just like, fuck. Well, back to bombing, because that's all you can do in the check spot is just fucking fuck with people. But
It's a good training exercise, though. It really is, man.
I've only done a few, but every time it's weird until like I got saved by a heckler at Caroline's doing that check spot.
Sure, yeah,
just,
that's what I'm saying. It really
yeah.
can too. Like it's interesting how like engaging with the crowd too, get through check spots too sometimes.
I'm sure at the Cellar doing crowd work. I mean, I actually saw when I wanted to say like. When I first came to New York when I was just visiting, you were like so nice to me. You like took me to the Cellar. We were with Olivia Grace.
Yeah.
And you like got me in to see Attell, and then you like bought me a drink after. I was like, this is like a big comic doing this stuff for me. And it was like it meant a lot to me, honestly. It made me like really want to move out.
I'm glad
here.
I could do that. Well, this is a business. Look, it is possible, I guess, to do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking put your nose down and do it on your own.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Kevin Hart, like Keith Robinson, man. Keith Robinson doesn't bring us to New York. I don't know what different route Kev's in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or what we would have done. Kevin Hart may have been like more of like a Mike Epps, which is definitely less known than Kevin Hart.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, you know, who knows where the fuck? But people helping me was a big deal, man. Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice helped you?
Put $200 in my fucking hand.
Wow.
Before I went to Montreal the first time for New Faces, and he was like, "Here, so you can like eat and shit, and not have to worry about it." And he wasn't wealthy and all. You know, I mean, he didn't have like $200 for him was something.
Yeah.
But he gave that to me. You know,
I was under the impression he was mean to everybody.
Keith no, he was. I mean, he was definitely mean to me, like in like the most ball busting of ways. But no, he was fantastic to me. I mean,
That's
he taught me so
awesome.
much. I mean, we spent.
I'm a huge Patrice fan.
We spent all the barbecue and we did like the Christmas and Thanksgiving holidays at his house also too. It was for the last many years of his life.
That's great.
So it's again just another guy to learn from. We didn't even go on the road like a ton. We did a little bit, but I think he thought that we had two two big guys on the show. I think that's honestly what why we didn't go on the road so much. And also when I kind of found Attell, I found that I was grabbing an audience that was my audience more. Do you know what I mean? To go out on the road with Attell, and then Harris Stanton, some other people started going out with Patrice.
Right.
But always like never changed. Like
he
was my first call and like mentorship and everything.
Damn.
And Attell's been just like the same kind of like amazing to me. Just
That's great.
But Patrice, the guy can call and be like, "Why should I not quit comedy?" And he's like, "I don't know, quit." He's so not give a shit. He's like, "Quit if you want." I don't know. It sucks.
That's so funny. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of other comedians. Sometimes it's like, man, I'm feeling I just want to quit. This business sucks. I'm like, yeah, we all want to quit too, but
get the fuck out of the way then. Yeah.
We have nothing to tell you. All right, man. I think that's you've been more than generous enough with your time. I really appreciate you coming out. Do you have anything to plug? Any big?
Go to BigJComedy.com. All my live dates, Bonfires on Sirius XM, Comedy Central Radio, and Legion of Skanks podcast.
Yeah, and go see Big Jay live if you can. The guy is.
Oh, I guess if you have Netflix too, Degenerates on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's
half-hour special on the Degenerates on Netflix.
Yeah. We have more of a crackle crowd where you just have and hangers on for CISO, but
yeah, that's right.
That was my one credit and got taken away.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you so much.
Of course. Please rate, subscribe, and review. And thank you very much.